Member for Monash.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I seconded this motion for a reason. I seconded this motion so that this parliament would discuss the issue around the size of the market held by supermarkets. Now, philosophically, probably I don't sit well with the motion that Mr Caddo has put forward, but I'm happy to second it so that the parliament can have the discussion. Access to healthy, fresh food should not be a luxury in this country, and we all realise that the prices people are paying at the moment seem to be inflated beyond their control or beyond the household budget. What we're facing here is the market dominance of these supermarkets is probably unprecedented in nations around the world. If we compare ourselves with the UK, the biggest player in the market is around 28% in the UK. In the US, the biggest player in the market is around 25%. In Australia, the biggest player in the market is 37%. With all our second biggest player having a larger nominal share than the share that the largest supermarket in the US has, just two supermarkets account for 60% of the market share and proved how lacking the competition is in the sector. You already know which two supermarkets I'm talking about. Of course there's a choice. You can seek out, in Melbourne, you can seek out a retailer that may be a long way away from you, but will give you a better price. I asked a customer the other day in, I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to name names here, in the Aldi store. I said, do you believe you get a better price shopping at Aldi than you do at the major supermarket? She said, absolutely. She said, this is my major shop for the week, and it was about $200 and something, $275 for her major shop. She lives with her daughter. And in that process, she says, yes, I think I'm this many dollars better off by shopping at that particular store. So you can in Australia still seek out, if you're prepared to look and travel, opportunities for independent supermarkets. Where I have a problem with the bill put forward is that all of the programs outlined by the member for Hasluck a few minutes ago that the government has in place to fight against the monopoly, the market happens very quickly. I'm a former retailer. The market happens on that day, in that week, in that time. All the inquiries that you might have from the ACCC or any other body over price gouging, by the time that inquiry is held and done, the damage is done, it's all over, it's finished for the retailer. I know myself in my own area, when a major player in the market in my industry came in to my community, I knew that our retail model was over, finished, gone. And it took a long time for me to explain that to my family, that we were now finished because we couldn't compete in the marketplace with such an enormous organisation. And therefore businesses like mine disappeared, not just in my area, but right across Australia, because the big organisation came in and took over from the very small. In the inquiry that's currently going on in Australia in regard to food prices, or whatever the inquiry is called, it was really interesting to hear the apple growers and what they're going through at the moment, and the fact that many of them are ripping their plants out of the ground because they can't put apples on the shelf, and you'd know this in South Australia, they can't put apples on the shelf for what it costs them to produce it. In fact, the gap is enormous, and some of their product, which is perfect to eat, because it's slightly the wrong colour, gets rejected, for heaven's sake. So 30% of this beautiful product here in Australia is thrown out or sent back to the grower just to be ploughed in or thrown down the tip. Now, what I'm putting to the House is it's good to have this discussion around how we deliver food into households in Australia, but remember, we're dealing with a marketplace which is moving quickly every day, and you've got to be a very big supplier to supply a very big supermarket. So the smaller man is left out. If you want that change, you have to change how you are supporting the smaller operators and the smaller growers.